of XYZ demographic fall in that test range, right? And then, of course, any alteration of that average can now be attributed to some other reason. And if you're testing as a 60 or 70-year-old person, but you're chronologically 50, you've probably had some additional stress occurring. And that stress can be a number of things, environmental stresses of all kinds. And I say in stress meaning pollutants or any sort of elements or items that are actually inhibiting your cells, damaging your cells. Obviously, everyone knows that smoking is bad for you, and so the constant exposure to pollutants of that nature are damaging cells and stressing them in the wrong direction, creating them to appear to be older than they are when they're tested. And I have actually talked to a friend of mine who was a smoker, and he tested something around 10 or 12 years older than he was when he got his test done. And he was disappointed to hear that, but I'm like, well, that makes sense because you've been smoking for, probably 30, 40 years. So it's going to reflect in your physiology in that age score. So when we talk about biologic age reduction and longevity as the new wellness, now you kind of understand what the objective is. We're trying to produce motivation to make health and wellness changes in your life that specifically can reduce those age markers that actually would reflect a younger version of yourself. That is exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what the whole world of longevity is trying to do. And that's why I love the concept that longevity is the new wellness, because it truly is. And if you have, and again, the other question people ask is, well, if you biologic age reduction, doesn't sound like that equals quote unquote longevity. What exactly does that mean? Well, the idea is that if the average person is going to live to, say, 75 years old, and you're testing 20 years younger, the theory would be that if you can maintain that health and wellness lifestyle that you have achieved in testing, quote unquote, 20 years younger than you are, that would extend into those older years and potentially get you to the age of 95 versus 75 on average. That's the theory behind biologic age reduction. That's why we would track it that way.